Stop playing. No, hold on. Let go.
Mendeecees and Kirk's conflict didn't appear suddenly. It has been simmering beneath the surface for some time, and those close to both sides claim that relations between them were never particularly cordial. They appeared to be friendly on the outside, but they couldn't stand one another in private. It all began when Mendeecees publicly criticized Kirk at an industry panel months ago. The topic was protecting your legacy, and Mendeecees made a seemingly innocuous remark about not letting fame make you forget who you are at home. However, those in the know say that line was directed specifically at Kirk. Kirk didn't take that lightly, especially considering all the accusations of infidelity that have plagued him and Rashida for years. A few days later, he was spotted making ambiguous comments about individuals seeking attention to stay relevant on Instagram Live. Mendeecees responded to the back and forth with a post of his own, writing, "Don't throw stones if your house is made of receipts." Things took off from there, and the private DM began to leak. Kirk threatened to handle the situation off camera. Conversely, Mendeecees was telling people that Kirk needed to be reined in because he was becoming irresponsible. At that point, the narrative took a more concerning turn.
But did you really mean that?
I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't mean it. I wanted to see if she take the exit.
Right.
Like if he giving me a, like
sometimes I'm gonna take it.
Sometimes you give someone an out and see if they take it.
Yeah.
And if they take it, that's what they really want to happen.
Mendeecees claims that during a networking gathering at an Atlanta rooftop lounge, Kirk confronted him. According to Mendeecees, Kirk was hostile right away, attempting to irritate him and coming into his personal space while swearing. He claimed that Kirk initially shoved him, which is when things became physical. Kirk provided an entirely different account, claiming that Mendeecees was the one who confronted him and that he acted solely in self-defense. For weeks, it was only rumors until someone made a record. And when the court saw that video, everything changed. The footage was captured by a security camera at the private event, which was held in a rooftop club. TV crews, influencers, stylists, and A-listers were all present at the red carpet entry, but none of them anticipated what transpired next. The video began with individuals drinking and laughing while background music played. Standing by the bar, Mendeecees was observed conversing with two other men. Kirk then came into view, but he wasn't alone. Behind him were another man and his aide. It is evident that Kirk looks around the room before heading straight for Mendeecees. Not a single stop or hesitation. Kirk takes the opening swing after he simply walks over and says something. It wasn't a slight shove or a protective gesture. Security and lounge employees hurried in and separated them after a full-fledged punch was delivered directly to Mendeecees' face. Mendeecees tried to protect himself, but it was obvious that he was reacting. He didn't start the altercation, he just reacted. Kirk was the first to swing. The fact that Kirk had previously told the court that Mendeecees was the aggressor and that he felt intimidated and acted just to protect himself is contradicted by the video. Indeed, it has the opposite effect. It depicts Kirk as the one who entered the room unannounced and launched an attack. If you thought the video was shocking, wait till you hear how the courtroom seemed like the air was being drawn straight out of it.
The crazy thing about that is, in the beginning, I didn't think she could do it, right? Because I know how clingy she was, right? And prior to me having this case.
And when the court tape aired before this case, everyone's eyes were instantly fixed on the TV. But if you were observing the individuals instead, the true narrative was right there. Mendeecees sat still, arms crossed, not moving a muscle. He blinked scarcely. That composed, serene energy remained constant throughout the video. Kirk was unable to conceal anything on the opposite side. As soon as the video began, the shift was evident. He crossed and uncrossed his arms, shifted in his chair, glanced at his attorney, then at the judge, and finally returned his attention to the screen. When it was evident from the video that he was approaching, the entire atmosphere collapsed when Kirk threw the first swing. Mendeecees seemed to have been caught doing exactly what he made a vow not to do. It was not a prepared courtroom. As soon as the video refuted Kirk's earlier claims, you could sense the atmosphere shift. Shock was felt by those seated in the gallery. The room was filled with whispers, as if everyone was trying to simultaneously whisper what they had just witnessed. Even some people leaned forward, as though viewing it from a different perspective would somehow make the reality easier to accept. The judge himself had to temporarily halt the proceedings. He looked at the ground. He shuffled his papers, inhaling deeply as he took it all in. A moment like that doesn't occur in court unless something significant has just happened. Subsequent conclusion. Everyone in the courtroom understood what they had just witnessed and its consequences. Significance. According to the video, Kirk lied under oath about something. The courtroom silence was more powerful than words, and everyone began to believe that Kirk's story was unraveling. Mendeecees didn't boast or exult. However, the buzz wasn't limited to the courtroom because social media was buzzing as soon as this video became viral. Did what it does best. The tweet, "Kirk is throwing hands and throwing lies in the same week," was one of the most widely shared. "I'm glad he was captured in 4K, but he continues to try to play the victim," said another tweet. The shade room responses on Instagram were critical. "He was very talkative for the cameras, but the silence in the courtroom was loud." One person wrote, "It is impossible to deceive people and expect to avoid being exposed." It also ran on TikTok. Video edits appeared throughout the app, accompanied by striking sound effects. Replays in slow motion with captions such as "Kirk's lies dissolving." Some users completely broke down the differences between Kirk's initial speech and the frame-by-frame video. Some simply ran it back for amusement. It developed into a major online phenomenon. No one was unaware of the irony. Even on Love and Hip Hop, Kirk portrayed it as though Mendeecees had been the aggressor, pushing the victim narrative through interviews and social media posts. As a result, the internet didn't hold back when the video started to show otherwise. A few public figures even leaped in. Video shared by Yandy Smith, Carly Red posted a reply video to her Instagram story, simply shaking her head without saying anything. At first, fans were divided, but now they are united. After the video was released, the story took a radical turn. Mendeecees was protecting his name from a false accusation that was now fully revealed, not only for himself, in the video. Receptions were dropped in the courtroom just as everyone believed the video was the final nail in the coffin. The purported texts that were sent from Kirk's phone.
In a dark road. And not even one time. You better know how to get through that month. You better know the path. Because as much as y'all want to talk, Kirk this, Kirk that, Kirk. Bro, how you think your grandmama made it and had your mama to have you?
The prosecution coolly filed a printed stack of messages taken straight from Kirk Frost's phone as the commotion was waning. These were time-stamped direct messages that provided a devastating account of the events leading up to the incident. They were neither rumors nor assumptions. The screen's first message was straightforward. He will not anticipate it. That can sound odd on its own. But combined with the backdrop of a planned altercation and the video, which made it obvious that Kirk was intensifying a heated argument, there was weight to this quote. It suggested that Kirk had a plan and wasn't merely responding when he arrived. Then the next one arrived. "I don't care what happens." That line struck a chord in the courtroom, and the silence fell. "He must understand that I'm not playing." The presiding judge even leaned forward. These weren't sent in the heat of the moment, emotive reactions. Prior to the altercation ever occurring and before any words were spoken, these texts were sent. This demonstrated intentionality. Legally speaking, that alters everything because it implied that Kirk entered the situation already agitated and prepared to make a point rather than ease tension. The entire tone of the case changes when you switch from responding to a problem to organizing an encounter. What was previously an argument taken too far now has layers of premeditation, which is a significant matter in court. Online legal commentators following the case have already commented that these texts expose Kirk to accusations of malicious intent. It is more than just a quarrel between two reality TV celebrities. It now comes down to motivation and strategy. And when you combine that with the video, Kirk's entire defense starts to unravel. The prosecution maintained that these messages amply demonstrated Kirk's strategic intent to convey his desire for control rather than just his emotional state. And when you are under intense legal examination, that is a risky area. If Kirk appeared apprehensive in the video, these texts made him appear as though he had seen a ghost.
Some of y'all might not know this stupid shit, but somebody really in the comments, the shade room is definitely always gonna have it. You gonna put that work in over there. But
Everyone's eyes were on Kirk as the texts were read out loud. The customary bluster was gone. He changed his stance and avoided looking at the jurors. He had his hands clenched together. Any remaining self-assurance he had after watching the video was obviously gone. You could see him folding. Even the jury, a few individuals leaned forward. Before, there might have been some leeway for the benefit of the doubt, but now there isn't as much. Legal experts have said that Kirk's legal team will need to put in extra effort to prove their case. One juror even furrowed his brow when the second text was read. Explain those texts because, despite their attempts to claim that he didn't mean them literally, courts are inclined to take intent seriously, particularly when digital and video evidence are in perfect agreement. Throughout it all, Mendeecees remained composed and calm. Instead of gloating or reacting, he simply sat there and let the facts speak for themselves. YouTube, you just let the receipts do the talking, and that's precisely what happened. And now, the same question is being asked by everyone. Is this only the start of a larger storm or the conclusion of Kirk Frost's defense?